In the vast, intricate tapestry of Frank Herbert's Dune universe, spanning from the initial rise of House Atreides to the climactic events of Chapterhouse Dune, the militaries of this complex realm are as diverse and formidable as the planets they protect. The noble houses and also different other factions, each vying for control over the spice-laden sands of Arrakis, have cultivated armies that reflect their unique strategic doctrines and cultural idiosyncrasies. The militaries of the Dune universe are heavily reliant on advanced technologies. Lasguns, which are powerful energy weapons capable of cutting through most conventional armor, are often seen to be employed in ambushes and in assassinations, as well as during subterfuge and sabotage, but not in conventional warfare. They have become nearly obsolete here due to the widespread use of Holtzman's shields. These personal shields, which can deflect fast-moving projectiles and energy beams, create a unique combat dynamic here. When a Lasgun beam strikes a shield, the interaction triggers a catastrophic nuclear explosion, vaporizing everything in its immediate vicinity. This mutually assured destruction has led to a paradigm where the use of Lasguns against shielded opponents becomes a rare and desperate measure, often illegal, which often is seen as the same as using atomics. So due to the lethality of Lasgun shield interactions, hand-to-hand combat becomes the preferred method of engagement, which allows for slower moving objects to actually pierce the shield and secure kills. This shift is further emphasized by the training and prowess of elite warriors such as the Sardaukar and the Freemen of Arrakis. But still beyond the terrestrial theaters of war, the Dune universe is safeguarded by formidable spaceship fleets, which tilts the balance in favor of one or the other faction. But again, these are dependent on the navigators and the spacing guild for interstellar travel. Anyway, here in this video we will try our best to rank and justify the ranks of the 9 most powerful militaries in the Dune universe. Let's get to it. Starting with number 9, we have the Ixian military. The Ixians in the Dune universe are renowned for their technological prowess, playing a crucial role in providing advanced devices and innovations to the Imperium. By the time of the events in Dune, Ix, the planet where the Ixians live on, is a leading supply of technology, though its society remains largely unseen until later in the series. In Dune Messiah, it introduces the concept of the Ixian Confederacy, suggesting a governance structure that differs from the single ruling houses typical in the rest of the universe. This confederacy hints at a more complex political system involving multiple empowered political bodies or worlds. Despite their advanced technology, the Ixians are not invulnerable. Their embassy on Arrakis was once infiltrated by Tleilaxu-faced dancers in an assassination attempt on Leto, which ultimately fails. By the time of the Heretics of Dune, the Ixians' power appears to be at its peak due to their alliance with the Fish Speakers. However, their military is of little note as they are mostly industrialists and innovators at best. At number 8, we have the Harkonnen military. House Harkonnen, a great house of the Landsrat, was headquartered on the heavily industrialized planet called Gaidi Prime. They were infamous for their brutal and sinister political tactics, driven by ambition, malevolence, and cruelty. Historically, the Harkonnens were the sworn enemies of House Atreides of Caladan, with their feud tracing back to the Battle of Corrin. The Harkonnen military was vast and formidable, built on their large population of their homeworld, which they can draft a steady supply of soldiers. Their military forces were marched by a significant space fleet comprising frigates and gunships capable of attaining air superiority and bombarding land-based targets. However, the Harkonnens are often criticized for their lack of strategic and tactical awareness. Their approach to warfare was more about brute force than strategic finesse. This shortcoming was starkly evident during the events on Arrakis, where a relatively small but highly motivated and strategic resistance led by Paul Atreides managed to wear down the much larger Harkonnen forces. The Freemen, the indigenous people of Arrakis, viewed the Harkonnen soldiers as cowards and weaklings in battle, so that's why they are very low on this list. At number 7, we have the Bene Tleilax military. So the Bene Tleilax are an extremely xenophobic and isolationist society within Frank Herbert's Dune universe. Known for their expertise in genetic manipulation, the Tleilaxu, they trade in various biological products including artificial eyes, gholas, which are clones, and twisted mentats. As a significant power within the Imperium, the Tleilaxu are governed by a small council of masters who rule over their society with strict control. The Tleilaxu military primarily consists of gholas, which are clones with abilities that can vary greatly from one to another. These gholas form the backbone of the military strength, offering versatility and a range of capabilities on a battlefield. Then they also have the face dancers, which play a critical role in their military strategy, using their mimicry skills for infiltration, espionage, and assassinations. The combination of versatile gholas and the deceptive prowess of the face dancers makes the Tleilaxu a really formidable military force here in the Dune universe. At number 6 we have Caladan's Atreides army. So House Atreides was one of the prominent houses major within the Landsraad, ruled by a duke, the patriarch of Atreides family. They governed the planet Caladan, maintaining it as a Siridar fief under the Imperium. The Atreides exerted control over Caladan through their dominance in both sea and air, supported by a fiercely loyal standing army. In preparation for their move to Arrakis, the Atreides had trained a small elite force whose abilities rivaled those of the Imperial Sardaukar, which are the elite of the Imperium. While the rest of their military forces were not as elite, they were still vastly superior to those of House Harkonnen. The Atreides also boasted a formidable air force, equipped with deadly fighters and ornithopters, which complemented their significant fleet of frigates. However, their military strength was not enough to withstand a surprise attack orchestrated by House Harkonnen and the Emperor himself, which had superior numbers and was reinforced by several legions of the elite Sardaukar forces. This devastating attack was made possible by the betrayal of Dr. Wellington Yueh, a member of the Atreides household, who disabled the defenses just before the assault, catching the majority of the Atreides forces and the frigates unprepared on land. At number 5 we have the Sardaukar army. So the Sardaukar were the elite military force of the Padishah Emperor during the Corrino Empire. Feared for their fanatical zeal, superior combat skills and ruthlessness, the Sardaukar were raised in the harsh environment of Salusa Secundus, with almost half dying before age 11. Their intense training instilled formidable swordsmanship, espionage abilities, and religious fervor, making them fiercely loyal to the imperial house. Renowned throughout the old Imperium, a single Sardaukar was considered a match for 10 standard Landsraad soldiers, the ones that are conscripted, not the elite ones. Only the freemen, with their equally harsh upbringing on Arrakis, and certain elite Atreides forces could rival them. So the Sardaukar were widely presumed to be the best soldiers in the entire galaxy. But despite this, the freemen defeated them during their uprising on Arrakis, leading to Paul Atreides' rise to Emperor. Post-defeat, the Sardaukar became a marginal force, serving as a standard army for the deposed House Corrino, and avoiding direct conflict with the powerful freemen of the Atreides Empire. At number 4 we have the Freeman Army. The Freemen are inhabitants of Arrakis, renowned for their exceptional military prowess. Living in one of the harshest environments in the known universe, they have adapted to the extreme conditions, developing into a formidable warrior culture. Their deep knowledge of the desert, with survival skills and combat, make them some of the most feared fighters in the universe. Trained from a young age, Freeman warriors excel in guerrilla tactics, in hand-to-hand combat, and the use of crysknives, their sacred and deadly weapons made from the teeth of giant sandworms. The Freeman warriors are also adept at riding these sandworms, which can be powerful weapons in battle, although only in Arrakis. The Freemen's fanatic devotion to their cause and to the Lisan al-Gaib, Paul Atreides, fuels their fighting spirit. This religious fervor, combined with their combat skills, made them instrumental in Paul Atreides' rise to power. Under his leadership, the Freemen successfully overthrew the Corrinos and defeated the Sardaukar forces, securing Paul's ascension to the imperial throne. He eventually led them into a crusade to secure the entire Imperium, but at the cost of 60 billion lives all over, defeating several Landsraad militaries, and even the remaining Sardaukar forces were in the end reluctant to face them again in combat. Number 3. The Fish Speaker Army. The Fish Speakers were an all-female army created by God Emperor Leto Atreides II to enforce his rule over the known universe. Men here played no roles in their ranks except for the Duncan Idaho Colas. Trained to be fanatical, disciplined, and highly effective soldiers and policemen, police women. The fish speakers also participated in Leto's breeding program due to their speed and strength. Leto preferred a female military force, believing it to be less predatory and more stabilizing compared to a male-dominated force like the Freemen and the Sardaukar. The fish speakers proved to be the most effective military force in terms of world's rule and historical longevity. Besides their role as the Imperial Guard, they also served as secret agents and assassins. Those who deviated from their duties became death commandos or berserkers. Despite the focus on women, men were still employed as house guards within the society dominated by the fish speakers. As a successor to the previous imperial armies, they would be better, but not by much. They were essentially a necessity born for the day, rather than a total upgrade of the Freemen or the Sardaukar. Number 2. The Bene Gesserit military. The Bene Gesserit sisterhood, long influential in imperial politics through subtle manipulation and their breeding programs from beneath the shadows, had been a more overt force by the time of the Heretics of Dune, and by then they maintained a formidable set of abilities and a powerful military presence. Their powers, derived from rigorous training in Prana Bindu, gave them supreme control over their bodies and minds, with them able to perform oral analysis, and their mastery over the weirding way made them unparalleled in hand-to-hand combat, rivaled by only the Imperial Sardaukar and the Freemen of Arrakis. The voice allowed them to compel others to obey their commands through specific vocal frequencies. Regarding their military presence, the Bene Gesserit later did have an active military force, especially evident after the scattering when they began ruling entire planets. The elite Bene Gesserit warriors served as special forces, as intelligence operatives and high-ranking officers, leveraging their advanced abilities in espionage and combat. Supreme Bashar Miles Tegg exemplified his military leadership, commanding forces for the sisterhood without directly involving Bene Gesserit sisters as rank-and-file soldiers. So the bulk of the military was likely composed of recruits from their controlled worlds, while the sisters themselves focused on leadership, intelligence, and specialized missions, ensuring that the Bene Gesserit remained a powerful and influential force in the galaxy for millennia to come. And number 1. The Honored Matres Army. The Honored Matres were a formidable all-female group that emerged from the Scattering, a period following the death of God Emperor Leto Atreides II, as powerful rivals and sinister reflections of the Bene Gesserit. Formed by the Reverend Mothers who had ventured into the uncharted space, along with the fish speakers who served Leto II, they returned to the old empire, fleeing an enemy known as the Ones of Many Faces. Establishing their base on Gamu, they quickly took control over numerous planets and triggered a war of the sisterhoods by attacking the Bene Gesserit in an attempt to kill a Duncan, Idaho clone. The Honored Matres built a formidable military force from there on, characterized by intimidation, violence, and a ruthless leadership structure where ascension required killing the previous leader. They frequently used assassinations to gain power and employed stolen superweapons to destroy planets and civilizations. So they were essentially the female equivalent of Sith Lords from Star Wars. Anyway, their conquest aimed to instill fear and establish dominance, with Junction, a planet, as their capital. Despite their widespread control and the destruction they wrought, the Bene Gesserit did mount a strong resistance due to their immunity to the Honored Matres' enslavement skills. However, it was clear that the newcomers were superior. So if you like this video, then watch this other one too, and if you want to browse for other sci-fi and Warhammer content, then check out our channel. We might have things you haven't seen before. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, boys!